The last few months have been difficult to say the least. We've come into an era of the effect of COVID-19 on all the world economies. Governments have come into heavy borrowing, fluctuation in oil prices, and all of that has led to uncertainties all over the world. I want you to join me every Wednesday this month and a host of experts as we talk about what the new normal means for you and your family. And beyond all of that is to also learn the wisdom to navigate this season. I see the Lord doing great things in your life. Don't forget, join us on all our digital platforms throughout this month as we talk about the new normal. God bless you. This service is service unusual, as you can tell, as we begin to dig into the new normal. And it's my pleasure to have with me today in the house a brother. He is a financial and management consultant. He's been in the banking industry for over 15 years. And then I should also add that he is the head of the Bezalel Skill Acquisition Center for our church, Global Harvest. And above all, he is a child of God. So, Okweyemi Folorenshaw, welcome today. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Good. I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful time because off the set, we've had one or two conversations around this. And so it's just our joy to bring this to your space as we share about all that God's been doing with us and all that we can trust God for as we go ahead from here. Now, Okwe, one of the things we talked about is that the lockdown in particular, amongst other things, made it possible for families to spend time together. And I remember asking you, how has that worked for you, bonding as a family this time? I hope it's worked out well, yeah?
Yeah, actually, it's been wholesome. It's been very nice. Well, for me personally, I don't have problems staying at home.
Okay.
But a couple of us, we have a bit of issues, staying back at home and all the rest. But for me, it's been wonderful having to know your children better.
Yeah.
Maybe before now, you used to spend a few hours with them. You spend a longer hour.
That's right.
You see some things in them. You appreciate some things in them. Yeah. Some of them, we do not even know how they have actually grown that far in terms of intelligence and all the rest. So for me, it's a very wonderful experience. Right. And on the other side of it, self-discovery that has gone on in the last few months is just awesome. Awesome. Getting to know who you are, what you intend to do in the future, and all the rest of it. So it's very wonderful.
Beautiful. Just an opportunity to reset all around.
Oh, very wonderful.
Okay. Now let's dive into the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian economy. Okay. We know in the last few weeks, the government has gone borrowing funds to battle COVID-19 and then for the survival of our economy itself. And then also the crude oil prices have been fluctuating and all of that. What is that? What does that mean to us as a nation? Where are we right now?
I think that I need to, when you listen to comments from people, you tend to on borrowing. Why is government borrowing? Especially when they make some political issues out of it. Yeah. So I think for me to answer that question correctly. Yep. I think I will quickly, maybe for a few minutes, to talk about what budgeting is all about.
Okay. Yeah.
Because budgeting is essentially a projection of your income and your expenditure for a particular period. Yeah. In this case, for a particular year. The government had already projected that, crude oil being our major source of income, I think about 90%. Yeah. The government projected for the year that it's going to be like $58 per barrel, which has gone down. I think the particular time to as low as less than 20 or thereabouts. But I think now it's hovering around 30, 31, 32 or thereabouts. Now, what that then means is that the expected income of government has actually dropped significantly.
That's right.
In fact, they had to even rework the budget based on $35 per barrel. Yeah. We don't know if that one will still be feasible. Yeah. So what that means is that, for a budget, you have your expenditure, you have your income. Either you like it or not, even if you don't get the income, the expenditure, you will still spend it. Because there are lots of recurrent expenditure that you must, like salary, you must pay. You can suspend some things, maybe the kind of capital project and here and there, you can take those ones off. Yeah. But some you must still spend. So that is why we have deficit and surplus budget. Okay. So I don't want to go into the depth of that. But we need to appreciate that this borrowing is they have to do it. Then what we should then concern ourselves with is that this borrowing, what are they using it for?
That's right.
Is it to finance expenditure? Is it to finance capital projects? If the borrowing is essentially to reject the economy, is to bring the economy back, then for me personally, I think it's a welcome idea. If the borrowing is to make the race sector work, if the borrowing is to make the manufacturer work more and all the rest, to make the agriculture come back alive, and different sector of the economy, I mean, I think it's the problem we have with government, which I don't think we should even go there now, is that we don't trust them.
That's right.
But for me, the borrowing in itself, I think is something that we should appreciate. What we should then look at is that to be sure that they are not borrowing for the wrong reasons.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And as true for our nation and nations of the world, you could come up with the best policies, but how it's implemented is a different story.
Different ballgame.
Yes, and then when you now couch that in corruption, because the part of the story is being, okay, the monies are borrowed, the funds are diverted, even the monies that individuals donated for COVID-19 relief. There's been so much debate about what the money is being used for, and then the demand for accountability. And I guess in a saner climate, actually, there's nothing wrong with asking for accountability.
Definitely.
It's okay to let you know how the money is being spent. Now, let's come into inflation.
Okay.
Because one of the things I've discovered is I'm beginning to hear women and people who especially buy consumables and all of that from the market, coming back to say, for example, a certain measurement of tomatoes that used to be maybe 700 naira is now going for like 2,100 naira. That prices are moving, especially with the little increase in fuel price as well. Now, what do we envisage that this is taking us? Are we likely to see the effect of that multiplying on all the goods, or what do you think is going to happen with that?
Inflation is going to go up, definitely. We should not, that one is given. Because even before COVID, Nigeria, we don't produce enough. We are a consuming country. So when you run a system like that, where you don't produce something as basic as what we eat, we cannot even produce. This tomato that we are even talking about, we cannot even produce enough tomato paste for our consumption. You see, when it's tomato season, the price will go down, down, down. That if you even go to where they are being produced in the farm, you can actually pick them on the streets. To the extent that somebody said that sometimes they take the basket of tomato to the market. If you don't sell it at the end of the day, they just spoil it away in the market. So as bad as that. So if you run such an economy where you actually, everything that you eat, you import. So you expect that you don't have a full grip on your inflation. Not to talk about where the little that we could produce, now COVID is affecting the production. So definitely there's going to be an imbalance in demand and supply. So when there is an imbalance in demand and supply, you expect the price to go up. So definitely inflation for this year is going to go up. Maybe it's going to become normal as we get our hand more on COVID, or as the effect of COVID eases out over time. But for now, I expect inflation to go up. So it is now our responsibility to know, as individual, or as government, or as institution, how you are going to cope with it. What are the things you need to put in place in your own personal economy? How to cope with inflation, how to manage it, and the rest.
And all of that. And it's good you said, as the effect begins to wane, of course, we pray the effect of COVID wanes out, so that things can go back to normal, and as things should be. Now, on the back of that, during the lockdown, and because of the effect of COVID-19, a lot of people have lost their jobs. Some people have had to take pay cuts in the last 2-3 months, and you now add rising prices to that. So you see, for families, certain income has reduced. Now the cost of things are going up. From your experience, how can a family cope with this time? What's your general overview? What would be your words to families or individuals right now?
Well, it's difficult. It's not something that you can. It's not a yes or no kind of answer. But the truth of the matter, what I usually sell to people is that there's something they call normalcy bias. You can see the thing, but you pretend as if, or you act as if or you say God forbid.
Yeah.
So that God forbid syndrome, we should just put it aside. It has come. It has come. You have lost your job. You have lost your job. Your income has dwindled. Your income has dwindled. So instead of saying, "Oh, God forbid," sometimes in life we need to embrace the reality on ground, and we embrace the reality on ground with the understanding that that is not the end.
Okay.
Things are still going to get better.
Yeah.
So what I feel people who have either lost their job or people who are likely to lose their job, I'm saying
We
that
still have
yes, we still definitely
a lot
we
of
still
that
have,
still gonna
we still have
happen.
a lot of that because as people are coming out of a lot of things that happen in the corporate world,
Yeah.
a lot of things that happen in the business world, because we're just coming out. So I'll still go back to the question because we're just coming out of the COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
The true reality of what has happened, is not shown yet. Okay, take for instance, some people have been working from home
Yes.
for a very long time.
Yes.
As a business owner, if my employees have been working from home for like 2 months or thereabouts,
Yes.
if I now look at the productivity of my company, perhaps the productivity of the company could have even gone up.
Okay, possibly.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Perhaps.
There are instances like that.
Or perhaps you would have probably seen some functions that are irrelevant.
Yes.
You would have discovered some things that's why are we still
I'm
doing
even
this?
sure we'll have been able to save some cost because
Yes, of course.
for the company, if you're working at home, you save them.
You save costs, you save everything.
Yes.
Especially when you now discover that people not coming to work is actually
Paying you.
it's actually paying you. So I expect that going before the end of the year, you just ask some people not to come again. Okay, so if you ask some people not to come again, so I still expect some jobs to be lost, and I expect when I say job losses now, I also expect some new jobs to be created.
To be created, yes.
So for me, I don't think is something to weep over.
Yeah.
It's something to all just embrace and move on. So some job will still be lost. So when you lose your job or you lose your source of income or it comes down for whatever reason, what I then expect people to do is to embrace it as a reality.
Oh, okay. Now, okay. Let me jump in and say something because
Okay.
you touched on something that I think is very critical.
Okay.
We know what we're trying to answer is how people can cope in the face of job losses
Yes.
and all of that. But you said something that I think everyone should take a listen to again.
Okay.
Now, you said job losses are normal in a sense,
in a
okay?
sense.
Because as development comes, certain jobs will be phased out.
Phased out.
And for years now, there's been a campaign going on that you need to examine what you're doing. Is this still relevant in the future?
Yeah.
So it's not COVID's problem.
COVID's
It's
problem.
just part of life that as people develop. Remember those guys that used to serve as a typist?
Yes.
Now, I don't
Yes.
know any organization that I've been to where they had the typist because each person has become their own typist. You've had to sort yourself out. So that job function has become irrelevant forever.
Definitely.
Okay? So more jobs will also become irrelevant.
Definitely.
So even now, even if you're still working now, the question should be what you're doing, is it still relevant in the future?
future.
Because it's not a case of if, it's a case of when. When you would eventually need to get out of that job and do something else. Okay? So, and I just wanted everybody to understand that COVID is a platform upon which some of these things happen, but without it, some people will still have needed to lose their jobs.
Definitely.
Okay? So that gives us the energy to wake up and reinvent ourselves and not just sit on our own desk and think we're comfortable. In fact, Opi, you also mentioned something that I think is critical. If you've not been to work in the last 3-4 months,
Yes.
and your organization did not miss
Miss
you,
you.
I mean, clearly
Why
you are
should they bring you-
irrelevant. I
why
mean,
should they bring you
why
back?
should they bring you back? That's the question. So we need to do the best we can to make sure we are indispensable. If you still have your job now, and I think it's still a question we're asking ourselves, if I tender my resignation tomorrow, will they say, well, I mean, good riddance to bad rubbish. Thank God. Of course, they will say thank God. For some people, that okay, thank God the guy is gone. Lesser bills for us to pay, or and so that we can challenge ourselves. Even if the organization is not saying anything now, can we challenge ourselves to make sure we're in the cutting edge of production, that we're making ourselves invaluable to that organization? And I just wanted to bring that out, because when you mentioned it, it just hits me that it's important, because that's not the devil.
That's not the devil.
It's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
It's just the reality that each person should stay on their cutting edge. Yeah, thank you. Sorry to cut that.
Just to add to it, I believe that COVID just brought it in our faces. It's
Yeah.
been happening.
Yes.
ATM has been the main thing in Nigeria for the past maybe 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
banks have
thereabout.
been deploying ATM
ATMs,
machines.
yes.
I mean ATMs massively.
That's right.
You know, but people don't even know that ATM is automated teller machine.
Machine.
It's a teller.
It's a replacement
It's
for the
a
teller.
replace for human teller. So
Yes.
imagine now when there was lockdown for over 2-3 months
Yeah.
now, people were still getting money.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had not deployed those ATMs.
That's right.
And human tellers could not work. Imagine what could have happened.
It means tellers should even be careful
So
now.
tellers,
Even tellers need to be
They have
careful.
started, reacting
Taking
to them,
them out.
taking them out.
Oh
so
my God.
there is no place for tellering in the banking, in the future
In the
banking.
future banking.
That is just the truth.
True.
There is no space for tellering in the future of banking. In fact, the reason why they have not asked all tellers to go is for labor reasons.
Okay.
It was labor issues and everything.
Yeah, but also we're still largely cash based.
Yes.
So I mean, I said largely. I know
Yes.
it's changing.
Yes.
In fact, COVID also made it change the more. But we're still cash based. So and those machines also receive cash now.
Yes,
So
cash.
as they deploy more of it,
They will
there'll be
now there are some banks that have deposits. You have paying tellers, paying ATMs,
Yes.
and those that can take deposits.
That's
so
right.
why
That's
should they put human being there?
okay. Food for
And
thought.
the truth of the matter is what those human beings are doing is not pay, you receive. You pay, you receive.
That's
It's
right.
too
It's too monotone.
it's
So
it's
too basic
for
job.
you to put
Okay.
a whole human being
And
there.
spend your entire career
in the
paying
new,
and
in the
receiving
new world
cash.
that we are going.
Wow.
We don't even want to. be there.
You know, all of us have to rethink work. In fact,
Yeah.
I think we need to redefine what
Work,
work is
yeah,
right now.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
because the idea is not just to go to a place in the morning and come back in the evening.
Yeah.
It's about value contribution
Yes.
and to the overall development of an organization or nation. But essentially, are we adding value to other people?
others.
And are we indispensable? I think it's just critical to look at that word, to become indispensable.
Indispensable.
A few years ago, when there was strong downsizing, maybe about, it's still ongoing really, but the noise for downsizing started about 10 years ago,
10 years.
actively, 10, 11 years ago, actively. Now, as organizations were downsizing, they were also recruiting
People.
problem solvers. So, I mean, anybody can be on that side where they're shouting, oh, they're just laying people off, they're just laying people off. But they're also recruiting people that they believe can add value and take the business to the future. So it's still back to a place of value. It's still back to
It's back to
being
being
able to
able to
contribute.
contribute, yeah.
But anyways, some people have lost their jobs. Okay?
Definitely.
And then even savings in the last 3 months, even if you had savings, you must have been depleted to a level.
Yeah.
But even if your savings are not depleted,
Okay.
you've not lost your job.
Okay.
Inflation technically means you're in a, I don't want to say poorer position, but you're not as rich.
Your position.
Your position is gone down. So what do we do? So let's come back into that now.
Okay.
What do we do? What's the advice for?
What we need to
Yes.
do when it comes to, we need to apply a lot of financial wisdom.
Yes.
Now, inflation in itself is not within your control. Inflation in itself is not, I cannot control inflation as an individual. The people that shoulder the responsibility of controlling inflation of a particular economy is the central bank and the Ministry of Finance.
Finance, yes.
They are the one that can throw out policies. They are the one that will do one or two things, maybe push more money into the economy.
Yes.
Maybe they will put price control, whatever they want to do. It is not me as an individual's business. Yes, if I'm part of the policy makers,
Yes.
yes, I will lend my own, like it's not like CBN, maybe monthly, sometimes quarterly or something, they meet to what they call monetary policy meeting.
Yes.
Where they
review
determine,
and-
take for example, I think they met last week or 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
where they reduced the monetary policy rate
Okay.
from 13.5% to 12.5%
Okay.
by 1%.
By 1%.
So what that means is that they want the bank to lend more.
Yeah.
So they reduce the interest so that they can inflate the economy.
Okay.
They can,
Stimulate
stimulate the economy,
yeah.
sort of. They can stimulate the economy. So that's the essence. So those are the people shouldered with the responsibility of regulating the inflation. Even them,
Yeah.
there are some times that they just have to let go.
Yeah.
So now, as an individual, it's your responsibility to manage it. You cannot control it.
Okay.
And how do you edge against inflation? You need to make more. Then you need to be wise with your investment.
We need to make more money.
You need to make more money.
Okay.
Then, if you cannot make more money, because there are some times that this thing is like a business.
Okay.
You make money by increasing your revenue or by reducing your cost.
True.
Sometimes revenue you cannot grow, but you can reduce your cost.
True.
So the same way it is, if you cannot make more money, then you need to use the little that you have wisely, such that you put it in investment that can cover up for the inflation.
Okay.
Say, for instance, that if the inflation of Nigeria now is about 12 point something or thereabout, let's assume it's 12%.
Yeah.
So which means that 12% per annum. So which means that you got to go and look for an investment that will yield you more than 12% return per annum.
Yes.
So that suggests to you that putting your money in savings account is just a waste of time.
True.
Putting your money in fixed deposit itself is just a waste of time.
True.
Then where are you going to put your money?
money? So
those are the things that we need to go and look out for.
Okay.
It's not something that we can tell on air like this.
True.
Because you have to ask a lot of questions before you can advise somebody on what to do.
Yeah.
Because there are different, different plan for different individuals.
True.
But essentially, what we are saying is that you just have to hedge against that inflation.
Yeah.
You have to make more money if you're doing business. Then sometimes business is so wonderful.
Yeah.
What is wonderful about the business is that sometimes that inflation, you pass it back to the consumer. That is the beauty of business.
True.
So that is why for those people that are employed,
yes,
inflation catch up with their salary increase. In fact, most likely your salary will not be increased in tandem with the inflation rate.
Yeah.
But for like you talked about tomato,
the
cost of transporting tomato from Benue to Lagos has increased. I pass it out to
the consumers,
the consumer that is cooking stew at home.
Sure.
You just pass it to them. So it's not your own business. If the price is, my cost of purchase goes up, I had my margin on it, I still buy it. If it comes down, I reduce it and I'm fine. So that is why I advocate for people to do a bit of business. Even if it's not going to be actively, maybe in a passive manner, you have some things that you are buying and selling. It's just a very veritable way to control inflation or to mitigate against
Let's come from this angle. You've talked about, it sounds to me like you said there are three aspects you're looking at. One is in managing your personal finance at this time, increase your income, reduce your expenditure, and then try to invest wisely to edge against the inflation. Now, let's try to break the three down a little more. To increase my revenue, and you talked about if you're an employee somewhere, if you can do a side business, it's commonly called side hustle. Even though I don't like that word hustle too much, just for what it's, so I'm more comfortable with side business. Now, side business should be something that will not negatively impact on your core job also. So because if it reduces your productivity, you're at risk now of losing the job. So something that does not negatively impact on your job, but at the same time not something you do with recklessness, because you can also lose all your savings if you're not smart about that business. So you're saying we should look at more ways. If you have additional gift in you that's just been dormant. I mean, we have some people who ordinarily say they are bank tellers. But they're amazing artists. They can draw things. It's okay to look at that and the possibility of getting into the application of that, cartoons or drawing work of arts and selling to hotels. I mean, I know that's another part of the business that's strongly affected right now, arts. But that you look at your gifts and you say, how can I bring something out of this? So it's just, I just wanted to say something about that, because you're calling all of us to look inwards again, come back to multiple streams of income, that more than ever, this is the time to look at that. Would that be right now?
You are very correct. I believe strongly that we can do much more than we are doing. That is my personal belief. About mindset,
every individual can do much more than we're doing right now. Much more than we're doing right now.
Much more than what we are doing right now. So it is high time, because the reason why our mental faculty has not been working at the right frequency is because of the perspective from which we see the economy, this economy called Nigerian economy. People, before, you can hardly meet 5, 3, 4, 5 people that will not tell you this Nigeria is.
There's nothing.
If Nigeria is like you said, check out. check out quickly. If the option that you are, if truly the option, you have another option, quickly decide that option and check out. But to the extent that you have not checked out, you are still in this economy, please shut up your mouth and get to work. In this same economy, in this midst of lockdown, people are building houses.
Absolutely.
In this same, so what are we talking about?
Absolutely.
I don't know. In fact, it's a devil.
I have to agree.
It's a devil that we have to address, honestly. It's a devil
with
that we have to rebuke. Because you keep saying, you keep somebody, before you talk to a youth from this, I know somebody that is telling me that because of COVID, there is no Uber.
There's no Uber.
There is no Uber, there is no transport.
That's not true.
And I met another person that is doing the same Uber that said, oh, the only thing that is affected is interstate transport, so that the local one has been going on. So this person will go on and on to tell you that the economy is bad. The economy. I'm not saying the economy of Nigeria is
that
fantastic.
we're not challenged.
I'm not saying we are not challenged. We are challenged, but in the midst of these challenges, we need to do something. Then you have spoken about the economy for too long. Please shut up your mouth for some time. At least just do it. Shut up your mouth. I'm using that word.
Yes, sir. We should just keep quiet.
Keep quiet.
There's no point stating the obvious.
Exactly.
All of us have heard it. We are tired of hearing it.
Yes, we know.
What can we do here?
What can we do? So let us start to look at, and for people who want to travel, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have any problem with it. Please quickly work on it and go.
But now that you said that, I was thinking in the last few months, nobody's going anywhere.
So that's why I said quickly work on it.
If you're here, you might as well do something now.
Exactly. So to the extent that traveling is not feasible immediately for you, why don't you just get to work and see what you can do here? Why can't you ask questions? Why can't you ask people who are making the money and ask them how they are doing it? What I've noticed is that people are not just, our mind is not productive as a nation.
Once we just
everybody, there is a devil that keep telling the youth that they should look to
outside
the hand of the government.
Okay, to the hand of the government and look outside. I see what you're saying.
It's not, please, the day you decide not to look into the hand of government, the day you decide not to look outside, quote unquote, you have started to look at breakthrough. I don't believe that you cannot make it in Nigeria. Personally, I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it. At the same time, I don't think if you want to travel, you shouldn't travel. If you want to travel, you can travel. But I don't believe. So choose ye this day where you are going.
Okay.
This is the time to take decisions. We've been in lockdown for 2 months. I think it's a time of rest for us. Because God worked for 6 days, rested for 1 day.
Okay.
I think God has forced us into rest, so that we can reset our mental focus and decide. Choose ye this day where you are going. If you want to travel, intensify the effort and quickly check out so that you can start
your life there.
So, but if you have decided, decide which way you are going. So if you are staying here, there are a lot of things that you can do in this economy, but you need a lot of work to do.
That's right.
So you cannot compare the way they do it in America and come and import that strategy into Nigeria. It's not going to work. We have our own way. The economy of Nigeria is different. People need to sit down, both prayer, both hard work, both effort, patience. You need to put a lot of work into it. I believe you'll be successful. That's my own opinion.
Amen. Thank you. I was going to say Pastor Opi. Amen. Thank you. But that's profound. And as we're saying that, I know we're going to deal with this idea later, but just the fact that people are caught at crossroads about their nation of destination already puts them at a problem spot. When people are I'm just buttressing what you're saying, that the fact that you're thinking, I want to go to the UK or I want to go to this, it does not make people settle in. So if the plan is that you're leaving, of course, you're being trivial with the things you're doing here. But if your mind is made up, this is my country, this is where I want to stay, then dig in and take roots and do well. And even if you're going to eventually leave, there's nothing wrong with having something established here before you go over there to, then start something. When you were saying that earlier, okay, in the midst of this COVID situation, new businesses have emerged. We have guys now that are producing the hand sanitizers, disinfectants, and all of that. The nose and the nose guard and the face mask generally has birthed a whole new stream of income for people. Automated things that the churches, mosque, religious places are going to need. Even offices will need those things. So there's a whole new market opening up. And so once we don't close our minds to the possibilities, then we can really begin to see and ask where we can play along this line. I know not everybody's going to become a tailor to make face mask, but there's a distribution of it. There's a marketing of it. There is, for every business, there's a chain.
Yeah.
And if you just look at it critically, there should be somewhere in this flow where you can play, somewhere where you can still make money.
Yeah.
So I think it's powerful what you're saying. But the truth is, in this economy, there's still so much needs. In fact, I remember this, the basic idea of business. What is business? Business is seeing a need and meeting it. If you can meet a need, and which other nation has more needs like Nigeria? The needs are endless. So we're sitting on a gold mine, really.
Yeah.
The bigger our problem, the bigger the opportunities. And I like what you said about the fact that we know it's not microwave. It's going to take a lot of work. It's a lot of determination. It's prayer. It's strategy. It's a whole lot of things combined. Yeah. But it does not change the fact that we're sitting on a gold mine. And I think we should think about that, because that will begin to change our perspective and how we move on from here. Now, we have less than 10 minutes on this. Don't worry. Wherever we stop, we'll take it next week. Okay. But I want to take you on the second one about watching expenditure.
Okay.
Isn't it interesting that in the face of all of this, for families, I know if you're on the cutting edge and you're making a lot of money, go ahead and enjoy yourself the way you want to. But for the average family whose income might have dropped a bit, you still find people engaging in some kind of expenses that you're wondering, are you really thinking about the future with this kind of purchase you just made? What do you have to say about that? Let me just hear your take on that.
Keeping, there are a lot of, like you said, there are a lot of behavioral changes that we need to put into this for people to, people say things like, I have to do it. Mm-hmm. I just have to do it. I just have to go there. I just have to buy it. I just have to buy that shoe. I don't know what people mean by I have to.
I have to.
What is it that you have to?
Okay.
The things that you have to are physiological needs. Food and shelter. Yeah. They are the things that you have to. Yeah. I think as a man, as a grown-up man, the things that you have to is a man with a family, the things that you have to is provide for your family food, pay your children's school fees, put a roof over there. Yeah. Then the other things you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You decide to.
Okay.
So now draw a list. Things that you decide to, that you don't, things that you thought you have to, and check if you truly have to. And how do you check? If you don't do that, then what will happen?
Okay.
If I don't buy that shirt, what will happen? Mm-hmm. Perhaps people will say I am poor. And so what is that? People will say, or if I don't go to that place, they will say I'm not caring. And so what will that happen? But if I don't pay my children's school fees, my children will be sent out of school. They will not be able to continue their education, and I will be embarrassed as a man. So I have to do that.
That's right.
So the things that we have to do, they are not actually many. And they are usually physiological and things that can put our life to threat and our dignity to threat. But when these things that you say, I have to. If you even when we come to heating, there are a lot of things that you can heat that you don't, that is not. In fact, the things that you said you have to heat, they are not even
very healthy. Yes, sir.
Those things that we say we want to eat, that big lap of chicken that we must eat is not even good for us.
You won't believe it. Part of my wake-up call was because, growing up, we thought you're a man if you have like 3 meats on your plate of food. That's a mark of a man. In fact, growing up, usually the kids have 1 small meat. And then when you become a teenager, the size of a meat becomes a bit bigger. But my dad used to have like 2 or 3 meats. In fact, they would give me a bowl of stew with his meat. So you pick it and then So that was the picture I had growing up, and I thought that's what it means to be a man. That your wife just bring a bowl of brocoto and all those things. And I thought that, but getting to realize that those things are not healthy for you. You don't even need it. So if anybody thinks you're poor for eating egg or for eating, small meat, they are the ones that are out of order because they don't understand. Yeah, you don't need it at that age anymore. So I agree.
So sometimes we can cut the cost. I know, yes, I understand that some people are actually very poor. They need help. I understand. Yeah. But we know them.
Let me show something like you. So when we were former colleagues, by the way, and one of those days, I had a customer who came into the bank, and this man we just got we were about to clear a check for him. So he was trying to draw on a check. Essentially, he needed money in anticipation of money that he's expecting. That's what it means. So we afforded him, let's say, 50,000, 100,000. Do you know one of the first things he did was to go pay for his DSTV? Now, for a minute, I couldn't shake it off because I thought, you don't have money. So technically, you just borrowed money from the bank because he was going to pay us interest. Of course, as the account officer, I made my, my percentage of, sorry, the bank made, I just remembered, it's important to say that right, because I was responsible for my balance sheet in the bank. So we used to say, I made my percentage, So the bank made the percentage of it, but technically you just borrowed money. And the first thing you did was pay for DSTV. Are you saying DSTV is essential to your life? Except you're maybe a broadcaster or something, I would get it. But so if in this age where people are borrowing, and the first thing you're doing is you're paying for full bouquet of something that would burn out that you're not going to use, or you're spending on heavy perfumes, or there's just some value sets that you wonder in the lockdown. Where are you going with perfume? You're talking about buying an expensive shoe. Where are you wearing it to? Of course, we're not saying you shouldn't. I mean, please, that's not the point. The point is on priorities. Because if you're trying to manage your income, then you need to even check what you've been spending your money on.
Exactly.
And then ask that question, must I put money on this? Can I reduce how much money I'm spending on this and then put that money somewhere else? And I think it's critical.
It's very critical that we start to do that now, because one of the things that organization will start to do is to cut costs. Is to cut costs. Because if you need to appreciate this COVID season properly, go and read about industrialization in the 18th century. What happened? Because what essentially happened is people were losing jobs. They were replacing human beings with machines and everything. They are going to replace human beings with robots going into the new... Because robots will not catch virus.
No, it won't.
They have come to the discovery that if they have been running their factories with robots, there won't be any problem now. The reason why the banking industry were not eat that much is because they had automated they have things, platforms where we can. I imagine if everybody was, what would have happened? So we need a lot of changes to make around us. And those changes will revolve around cost. Organization will cut costs. As organizations are cutting costs, I'm sure even church will cut costs.
We have.
I'm sure even in the midst of this, we have identified some of the things that we need to just push online.
That's
that
right.
We don't need to come to church to come and do again. In fact, I see a situation where church will start to do weekly service online. Maybe I'm just thinking because you just look at it and say, since maybe we did it online for this time, so why can't we just push it online? So things like that we continue. So if organizations that are worth billions, if churches where we come to worship are taking decisions to cut costs, how much more you
as an individual or family?
So you just have to do it. You just have to do it while you make more money. Maybe you can then But now, the thing that is staring you in the face is that your income has gone down.
Yes, sir.
And you are not getting the new one now. Even if you have prayed and you have gotten assurance from God that another door will open. But you have to wait on God.
That's right.
You have to wait on God till the door is open. So while you are waiting on God, cut your cost, man.
Okay. We should just cut the cost.
Cut the cost.
Okay. And now, on one more point before I ask you to just talk to us from your heart, the idea of investing in something that will edge inflation is a principle of economics that lasts through seasons. Wherever you are, whatever country you are in, once you want to invest your money, you should do the best you can to make sure it's something that at least can cover inflation. Or edge against it, give you an advantage over it. Now, with Nigerian inflation being in double digits, we've often said it's tough to do a business that gives you double-digit profits in a month in Nigeria and all of that. So, but it's still possible to do things. It's still possible, isn't it? I just wanted to say a little about that.
It is still very possible. Yes. If this, there are a lot of, in fact, there are some spaces that you can enter into that will give you, the inflation rate in Nigeria is about 12% per annum. There are spaces you can enter into in this country that will give you 30, 40, 50, 100% return. But
without being well solutioned, without doing MMM and this kind of thing. Okay, good. I think it's important we drop that now.
All those nonsense. Without doing all those nonsense, there are spaces that you enter into. But crying out loud, we are not a patient people.
Okay.
We are not patient. If I said that, okay, there are spaces that you can enter into that you get 150% return, that I know,
Yeah.
and I know as I know my name.
Yes.
Now, but all those spaces, if we enter those spaces today, the spaces will throw you down, you will rise with you, throw you down, you will rise with you, throw you down. You can be there for 3 years, she's struggling, but you will come out and get it.
Okay.
But we want to get there and make money in 6 months.
That's
That's
right.
why those MMM and all those things try.
we're doing well.
Because they will sell lies to us.
Yeah.
And we will buy the lie because we want to get rich quick. There is no get rich quick anyway.
Oh my God.
There is no where it is in the
Okay.
world. You
Okay.
must walk through it. If you get rich quick,
Yeah.
somebody has shortened the journey for you.
Oh
Go
my-
and check it.
All right.
If
All
you
right.
get rich quick,
Yeah.
somebody shortened the journey
Somebody's
for
done
you.
the work.
Perhaps somebody who has been beaten, battered before he knew the way,
Yeah.
just gave you the hints.
No.
That was how you could make it. Just like salvation.
Yeah.
Salvation is not free.
No, it's
Jesus
not.
paid for it.
He paid though.
That
He
is why
paid
we
with
can
his life.
sit and just say, I trust you, I believe. You know, the salvation amazes me because I can just say something and
then
comes
you
like
received
that.
it, yeah.
It's because somebody
Paid for it.
So if you get rich quick,
Yeah.
somebody shortened the journey for
Wow.
you. Somebody has paid for the discovery. Somebody has been beaten. The reason why we, press a button and we get light
Yeah.
in our house is because Thomas Edison almost get himself killed in the laboratory for it. So there is no get rich quick anywhere in the world. So people should get to work. Once we have that mindset,
Yeah.
we are going to get better.
Awesome.
And we are able to be patient.
Thank you very much, Okwe. I'm sorry I have to cut you. You know what? There's still so much we have to talk about. We need to talk about debt management. There's been a lot of, just leading to the COVID, people were having access to monies from every side and they were taking everything. We need to talk about, if you're in financial mess right now, how can you get out of it? We need to talk to you about. We still need to talk about some mindsets that are getting us into trouble. Even when people have money, sometimes they become broke. What is responsible for it? It's not just the devourer, because I guess quickly people think that there's somebody following them from the village or there's a devourer. No, sometimes it's just lifestyle, or habits that are getting us into trouble. So next week we're going to get into some of these things and get a bit deeper in it. And by God's grace, we trust that we will have the victory. I want you to know that we're believing God with you, that this season, as tough as it's been, will be the beginning of the best seasons of your life. Because once we can learn from these mistakes, once we can, glean some powerful truths like we're sharing from it, God has given us an opportunity to restart and to rebuild. So no matter where your finance is today, something good can begin. As you apply your faith and as you apply the principles that God has given us, the wisdom that God has given us, the truth of the matter is, he said, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And the Bible asked us the question. The truth is, we can start all over again. We can build from scratch again. And I like the story of Job, because even though his problem was, we can say, spiritual, okay, and he lost everything, the Bible told us that God blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning, even though he had lost everything at a point. What am I saying to you? Even if you lost everything to COVID-19, God will bless your latter days more than your beginning in the name of Jesus. But it's going to take patience, like Okwe said. It's going to take your decision to work this thing and give it everything it takes to get the result done. It's not the time to give up. It's not the time to give in. It's the time to begin again. Okwe, thank you so much for being with us today. Yeah, we're going to do this again next week by the grace of God. So may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Till I see you next time, keep the fire burning.
The last few months have been difficult, to say the least. We've come into an era of the effect of COVID-19 on all the world economies. Governments have come into heavy borrowing, fluctuation in oil prices, and all of that has led to uncertainties all over the world. I want you to join me every Wednesday this month and a host of experts as we talk about what the new normal means for you and your family. And beyond all of that is to also learn the wisdom to navigate this season. I see the Lord doing great things in your life. Don't forget, join us on all our digital platforms throughout this month as we talk about the new normal. God bless you.